Well, hi there. Warm welcome now. You're watching Decoding Now, and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, you pay 5-star prices expecting 5-star standards. Fine food, fancy decor, the works. But what if I tell you 5-star promise hides a rotten reality? Raids of some of Bengaluru's best-known pubs and restaurants have uncovered hundreds of kgs of fungus in chicken, mold in vegetable, and cooking oil that's been used, reused, and reused. And it's not a roadside dhaba or small establishment, small, hole-in-the-wall kind of establishment. This is the rot in the kitchens of the swankiest, most expensive hotels and clubs of the IT city. Well, tonight we are not just exposing what's happening inside the commercial kitchens across the nation, but we are decoding your right to know. What is your right to know? Should restaurants be forced to display their hygiene ratings? Should inspection reports be made public? And before you spend thousands of your money on the next fancy meal, what questions should you be asking? Is it okay to check the kitchen? Should inspection reports be public, and should the pubs display the hygiene ratings? Because at the end of it, we all know now that fine dining doesn't mean food safety. In fact, look at the visuals. We are going to tell you all about the raids which are happening by the food singhams, as many people are calling it, because it's important that these raids happen, because it is a matter of your safety, a matter of my safety. This is a fancy Michelin-style tempura, which is worth 2,625 rupees at one of the pubs which has been raided in Bengaluru. That is what they are promising on their menu. That's what their menu looks like. On the other side, that is the reality on the right-hand side. That tempura is being fried in cooking oil, which is being used and reused and reused. Look at the other side of the screen. That's not tar. That's actually cooking oil. It's been used so many times, it's been reused so many times, it's actually turned black. They're using it for fries, they're using it for seafood, they're using it for crispers and crackers. They fry it, all of this in one oil, using it again and again. And then they serve it up on a fancy plate. So you think it's worth 2,600 rupees, for example, if it is tempura, but the truth is, it's nothing but black oil which has been used and reused again and again. Let's show you another example. On one side of your screen, what we are showing you is a fancy dessert. You pay anything between 495 to perhaps even more. This is from the menu of one of the hotels which has been raided in Bengaluru. That is what they promised to you, a dessert which is worth close to 500 rupees, because of course, there are several other taxes also which are going to be imposed on it. This is what they promise. But the rotten reality on the other side of your screens is there. It's curdled milk. Milk which has gone spoilt because it has not been stored properly. Perhaps left out for too long. It must have been sterilized or should have been stored properly, but it was not. This is what they use to make that creamy frosting for your dessert. Is that what you are paying for? Milk which has not been kept properly, milk that has been perhaps used in your dessert, milk which has gone bad, and you pay hundreds of rupees for a fancy dessert. Again, next one. That's a fancy misal pav on your screens. This is also from one of the menus of the pubs which has been raided in Bengaluru. It looks very fancy. It probably looks even better than this one. This is again from a food joint in Bengaluru that was recently raided. Now this itself, this dish is worth 495 rupees. On the other side is the reality of the bread that is being used. It is rotten. It is expired bread. You can see the expiry dates there. When the Bengaluru food safety sleuths swooped down upon this fancy restaurant, they found bread which is expired, which perhaps has mold. Something you should not be eating. If you eat it, you are probably going to fall. It's probably making its way to your plate nonetheless as French toast, shahi tukra, bread pudding, perhaps club sandwich. All of that being used, all of that being put on your plate with expired food. And this is just one example of this. Let's show you another example. This fancy lamb rack, it costs 795 rupees on the menu and plus taxes. This is also from one of the hotels which has been raided in Bengaluru by the food safety sleuths. But what is it really made of? Probably what you see on the other side of the screen. It's rotten meat. See that layer of white fungus on it? It's inedible. And they charge you to give you inedible and unsafe, moldy, rotten meat. That is what they are feeding you. And you are paying 795 rupees for this plus taxes. Is that what you paid for? IAS officer named Tukaram Mundhe. This is the man on your screens. It's important that while we lash out at those people who have been flouting laws, we also laud those people who have been trying to keep people like you and me safe, to work in the interest of consumers. Well, Tukaram Mundhe, he is now serving as the FDA chief in Maharashtra. He went viral for his staggering number of food inspections. He is one of many officers across India who are working to ensure that what reaches your plate is safe. Let's look at the numbers which show the Mundhe impact. He's the one who's been called the food Singham. If every officer were to work like this across India, perhaps we'd do better. Number of raids this man has carried out is 3,137. The number of arrests that he has made is 701. The number of FIRs he's forced to be filed is 519. The number of notices that have gone out because of him is 764. The number of units that this man alone has raided and shut it, is 407. The number of licenses he cracked down and scrapped was 165. The number of transfers that this man has faced is 25 in 21 years. He's been hounded out. He's been transferred again and again. You and I all know the reason why people in power may not like him. Now, on the next time, we need to tell you, it's not just about the rules, it's about what you can do with the rules. So next time you are at a food joint, even if it is a very fancy one, it's important that you make the right choice, that you have a right. Don't ignore it. Your right to ask questions, your right to know. Let's tell you what I mean. You can ask, and it's within your right to ask, when was the kitchen last inspected? You can also ask, how is the meat being stored? You can ask, is expired food regularly being checked, and who's doing these checks? You have the right to ask. You can also ask, how often is the cooking oil being used and reused? Why not? Why shouldn't you ask? You pay for it, you should ask. You should also ask about the hygiene ratings of the place that you are eating in. You should also ask if there is inspection report and if it is going to be made public or not. Or a simple thing, simply ask, can I go and visit your kitchens? See where you are cooking it. Because at the end of it, it's important that you understand. You have the right to know. Let me go across to our panelists. Today joining us on the show, we have Brinda Adige, a social activist. We also have Sandeep Anirudhan, who's joining us, the convener of Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru. Both of them are Bengalurians, and both of them today are going to join us. Brinda, I'm going to come across to you first. We all know we have the rights. Many people think, how do we even know? Who would have even thought? We think that if we are paying thousands in food bills in very swanky places, we are also getting safe food. Clearly, that is not happening. What should people do?
I'm sure people are very, very concerned, and there is a lot of awakening also. But the important question that we must ask is, have the state agencies made it easier for citizens to report? Because if you want to report something, who do you report to? Is an email enough? Should we go there in person and make a requisition or an application? What about the whistleblowers' protection? Because one thing that must come across very strongly over here is most of the star hotels have wealthy patrons, influential, powerful patrons.
Yes.
Now, it's not that their stomachs are immune, and it's not that their stomachs are much better immune than ours. They suffer the same food poisoning, if it may be. And that means who is going to report it? Is it special treatment extended to the influential patrons and to other regular patrons? So these are questions that we must ask, which you have been asking very courageously over here. I know I shouldn't use the word courage, but what to do in this age and time? Nobody wants to ask these very difficult questions. We must be able to ask, when was your last kitchen audit done? When was that hygiene audit done? Who did that audit? Is the person's signature over there? And can that signature be verified? And like you said, can I visit the kitchens? Where would you put, because you see most of the kitchens would have a no admission over there.
Yes.
So if you say a no admission, does it mean that I am trespassing into that space as a patron coming to that hotel? So we have these questions that we want to ask, but more than just a health hazard, it is a criminal liability. Because you are literally poisoning citizens, and that too with the playing with the faith and the trust that citizens place when they go to a hotel. And usually a 5-star hotel, assumption is that everything hygiene is tops. There's no question that anybody can ask about those hygiene matters, or the kitchen matters are clean or not. So I think it is more important for us to get it easier for citizens and others to report. We may not be able to report always, but probably staff who are working there could report. So the first question is, will whistleblowers be protected?
That's an important point. That's a very important point that you've raised. If we want to protest, if we want to lodge a complaint, whom do we do it to? Sandeep Anirudhan is joining us as well. So Sandeep, any suggestions for that? Do we have enough laws? It seems like on paper we have quite a few laws, but you're not quite sure if that's helping, if this is the state of affairs in the fanciest bars and pubs across Bengaluru.
Hi, Meghna. Thanks for having me on the show. See, firstly, intuitively people say never eat at 5-star restaurants. The cheaper restaurants are better food. It's shocking that this is being proven with so much data. But typically we avoid 5-star restaurants because the food is not tasty, not that it's unhealthy. But it looks like it's not healthy either. It's better to go to a wayside restaurant which has high turnover and you're assured that the food is fresh.
Look at the irony of it. Yes, you're right.
Jokes apart. See, firstly, the law, I think, is quite weak. The FSSAI has a requirement for inspection once in 2 years. I mean, how does that help? So the law itself is weak. Secondly, the government, if it wishes to ensure that the citizens are safeguarded in terms of the food they consume, it's mandatory that commercial restaurants have periodic and frequent inspections. It's not enough that it happens once in 2 years. And there should be transparency. I think we should have a portal where all the restaurants' inspections are recorded. One, it should be frequent. Maybe it should be once a month, once in 2 months, once in a quarter at least.
That's a good suggestion.
And these inspections should automatically be updated on a portal so people know that, okay, this is at least, see, why is this creating such a huge noise now? Because an official has launched a drive, has gone and inspected and has found so many violations. Now, if this is happening frequently, then these would get updated on the sites, action would be taken, notices would be issued, and these establishments could be held responsible and liable. But if the inspections themselves do not happen, then the system is completely broken. So this, I think, if the commissioner himself has to go on drives, then what are all the rest of the team doing? Or do they even have a team is my question.
Yeah.
Now, the point is, do they have the capacity? Do they have enough inspectors to cover? Because now it's not just the age of restaurants, it's the age of delivery, food delivery.
Yes.
And who knows what conditions these cloud kitchens operate under. And there are certain posts on social media which have gone viral for, taking conditions in cloud kitchens. And just about everybody in Bengaluru orders on the cloud now. So what are we eating? And the government has a responsibility to the citizens to ensure that these are all monitored, held responsible, and have transparent audit. and frequent ones. I think if all of these are not met, we're not going to fix the system. We can't wait for one commissioner, I mean, the top of the line official to come and conduct
I think
right.
fair enough. Everyone needs to be, the entire society needs to chip in. Every person who's part of the entire inspection process needs to literally do their job. Brinda Adige, how far are we from that reality? When everyone simply does their job, is that even achievable? Because I don't believe that it is only now that these five-star hotels have been flouting rules. They would have been doing it for years, for all I know.
You're absolutely right. I'm sure they have been doing for ages, knowing very well that they have got away and they will get away. We must not forget that corruption is almost a parallel component of all of this. So even while we talk about the government coming in to do their inspections, we don't really know how many of them know there is official complicity. So what we need to ask the institutions, the hotels, is that you be accountable. You are accountable to the patrons who come there with complete faith and trust in you. So that accountability is something that institution, that hotel and that restaurant must give. Yes, we do want the state to step in every now and then, monitor and supervise. But like you mentioned, it is the transaction between the citizens and the hotels.
Absolutely.
So the hotel holds the primary responsibility to ensure food safety. And the safe food is not a privilege. It is a fundamental right.
Oh, let's wrap it up on that, because safe food is your fundamental right. You also have the right to know. So next time you walk into a restaurant, even if it is a five-star restaurant, a fancy pub, which looks like you have luxury on a platter, ask, how was this food prepared? Because you have the right to know, which is why we are today decoding what you should be doing as well. Thank you so much. Appreciated. Brinda Adige as well as Sandeep Anirudhan for joining us. Pleasure to have you always on the show. With that, we wrap up Decoding Now. I'll see you again tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. right here on Times Now.